All right, you fucking nerds, line up. Who wants a piece of the gray bush? We're bringing you another comic book review, Halloween 3. We watched a movie. Halloween Horror Month continues.
Comic book walkthrough.
Mike,
Chaos Comics.
Jay, ready to begin and get your cat spayed.
We're ready
Let's
to
talk
believe
about it.
you.
That's right, we are.
Yeah, so we have a series. The first one was like 2 years ago, and then we just did one last week, and then people are like, are you going to wait another 6 years to do the next one?
Yes.
No, Jimmy.
Now that you said that, it's going to be 8.
No, we're just thankful that you guys give a shit.
Yeah.
But, so we're going to continue. We're going to do all that, the Halloween comic books. It's Halloween Horror Month. It's what we do, and if you're not ready, I don't know where I was going with that, but definitely click the subscribe
what you do
button
after high school.
and the bell, because all month long we have crazy amounts of cool Halloween shit. If you're a Halloween fan, this is where you want to subscribe. Trust me, Jim, you're gonna like the way I feel inside of you.
You know what? I always imagine that parents around the world probably show their young children that are impressionable videos of ours. And like, now, if you don't go to school and don't drink, if you don't go to school and drink, you're gonna wind up like those two assholes in Kentucky.
That happened to us.
And you know what? It's a good teaching moment. That's true.
When we were children, we were in a video store. We were pulling down each other's pants and smacking each other in the face. And some mom with her kid was like, "Now, honey, if you don't listen to me, you're turning like those boys." And we were like, "Yeah, probably."
It's like, what's wrong with touching another man's butt, my friend?
It's fine.
And then we sat out on the hood of my Dodge Neon 2000 and listened to How Bizarre. It was a great memory. It was a great memory.
Captain Kangaroo.
Whatever.
Halloween Chaos Comics.
Do you mind your fucking business about Holly?
I'm going to put the 2 links to the previous videos below so you can keep up with us. It's a Halloween comic book that takes place in the world of the Cult of Thorn, all that crazy shit.
Dr. Wynn, you're back, you son of a bitch.
It takes liberties with all this crazy fun shit. If you're a Halloween Cult of Thorn fan, you're going to love it. So this one starts out, it picks up at the end of the last comic book. Tommy, Paul Rudd's character in Halloween 6 basically, but Tommy Doyle has basically been framed for the murder.
I was framed! It reminds me of Back to the Future,
the one-armed man.
I was framed!
He was framed basically for the murder of Sheriff Brackett because they were in there, they were escaping the Cult of Thorn. Michael Myers killed Sheriff Brackett and he left Tommy laying there. The church was on fire. Tommy Doyle got charged with arson and with murder.
Sounds like Alabama, circa 1965.
Don't go to the Circle K in Alabama. But this one starts out, Tommy wakes up, he has a bad dream about all that was happening with Tommy, or with Laurie, when he was a kid. He has a bad dream.
That's a pretty cool moment, though. It's a pretty cool, the way they laid it out, and they do it in comic book form, they kind of give you a recap of Halloween, the first movie.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool to see it from that perspective, and the way the artist rendered it. It was pretty neat.
Man, Laurie's butt looked really good.
Dude, I liked how that's what I noticed too. When I was reading it, because I know I'm supposed to read, I'm supposed to be reading the talk bubbles, but I was just looking at that great ass and that great crack. I'm like, God damn, the shadows look great. It's very voluptuous, and I'm like, I never noticed that in the film because I think they gave her a little bit more of a badunkadunk in the comic book, but it looked fire.
So it reminds me of when you were a kid reading X-Men and like Rogue.
You know what?
Like all that. Oh my Lord Almighty!
I don't know.
Hard to watch.
That's why we both had hair on our hands growing up. But it's weird. In that particular scene, I understand that there's a lot of things going on. Obviously it's a great recap and it's really cool. But I've seen the fucking movie. I'm looking at that ass.
So he wakes up there. He has this bad dream, and then he's talking to himself, and he's like, I know that you're not actually dead, Michael, even though everybody thinks Laurie killed you, because this comic book, you find out, takes place after H2O.
That's pretty cool.
So in this comic book, and they kind of run you through the whole thing, while I keep wanting to call him Paul Rudd. While Tommy Doyle was in jail for all this, H2O takes place somewhere else, and on the radio they come on and they're like, hey, Laurie Strode is missing. We found the charred remains of what we believe is Michael Myers.
That bitch was running a fucking prep school, and her name was Carrie Tate.
Carrie Tate!
That liar. Lying idiot.
It's a great Xbox username if you're looking for one. That or Chip Douglas.
That would be...
Cable Guy.
But like, don't do Carrie Tate, because people are like, oh, you like to cut off your brother's head? When you get in a fight with somebody on Xbox Live, I bet you like to cut off your brother's head.
But Laurie's on the run. Michael's assumed dead. Tommy Doyle knows that he's not. And then all of a sudden, at his jail cell, Dr. Wynn, of all people, Cult of Thorn, got a date with her at the municipal court system. Dr. Wynn shows up with a dude, and they're like, hey, we're about to stage your suicide. We're going to do a strangulation, a ritual for the Cult of Thorn, and we're going to say it was a suicide. So get ready for the thunder action, Jackson. You're going to die.
Tommy's like, nope. I'm going to kick your attendant in the balls.
I said, don't do it.
And I'm going to get away scot-free.
Don't do it.
For some reason, he escapes a maximum security prison for the criminally insane, and he gets out.
By just kicking a dude in the nuts.
They have a quick little flash while he's running through the forest or the lawn.
He's driving out of the
and it looks like the 1978 Halloween, and he sees Michael in the flash of lightning. He's like, I knew it. I was like, you're crazy. You've had too much Ritalin. But
he just drives away. He's like, I knew you weren't dead.
Yeah, he was like yelling. By the way, Dr. Wynn in that scene, the way that he walks in, we're looking at it right here on the screen. He looks very much like Terrence Stamp, and he's like,
he does.
Finally, we will go to Houston and rule. And finally, to rule. Because he's holding his head out like this. He's talking to the attendant, and he's saying, like, you need to inject him with this poison so we can strangle him and sacrifice him to the thorn gods. But he's like, but I know that somewhere in the think bubbles, he's like, we will go to Houston. And we were rolling. Come to me, son of Jarrell! Kneel before Zod!
And when Tommy drives out, that's what he said. That's right there. And by the way, this makes no sense at all because this takes 2 years. This takes place 2 years after the previous comic. Full head of hair. In this comic book, they made Tommy Doyle look exactly like Loomis. He's all of a sudden completely bald and psycho-eyed looking. So that's a weird thing. But he says as he drives through the gate of the crazies, he sees Michael stand there in the rain. And he goes, "I knew it! Don't you ever die, you bastard!
Yeah,
you pedantic bastard!"
He looks like the dude from Dexter. He's like, surprise, motherfucker!
Surprise, motherfucker!
He look like Tyrone from YouTube. But yeah, and then you also get caught up with Lindsey
Wallace,
the other one that survived that horrible night with the sexy butt of Jamie Lee Curtis. And she's pretty much a reporter now. She's all, she's talking about her life after Halloween. She comes back to Halloween now, or she comes back to Haddonfield and is exploring the town. It's pretty interesting. What they do mention in the comic book is that Halloween is not as celebrated as it once was, as it should be, in the town of Haddonfield. And actually, kids go like 30 or 40 miles away.
Russellville, I believe.
Russellville, yes, Russellville. Named after Russell Westbrook. Wonderful basketball player and a great lover. But Russellville, they go to Russellville and they do their trick-or-treating because they feel it's safe.
Checked about myself, not a drip.
But yeah, I think that's pretty cool. You know what? I actually wouldn't mind that a little bit more in the Halloween films. The fact that Halloween is outlawed in the town and it's looked upon as very like shittily if you're celebrated. So they have to go almost like Footloose. Let's dance! Like, in Footloose, they have to go out of the town to dance because of what happened, the tragedy. So I feel like, hey, if they did it in Footloose, you could do it in Haddonfield. Look, a guy butchered people multiple times.
Yeah.
So...
But it's cool because when shit starts to go down in Haddonfield, it's a ghost town. So, and we'll get to that, but basically what happens is Tommy shows up to Lindsey Wallace's house, and she's heard all the reports on the radio because Dr. Wynn reported that Tommy killed the orderly, that they had tried to kill him.
It's a lie!
And he escaped, and he dug up the bodies of Annie, of
you nasty
Bob,
you nasty dog, you nasty
several
dog.
of Michael's victims. They're like, yeah, he dug up the bodies and he killed the orderlies and he's on the run. So Lindsey believes this. So when Tommy shows up at her house, she's like, I don't believe you, and he's like, I swear I didn't do it. And then he proves it to her. Yada yada yada. There's a quick flashback to Loomis here, which is really cool.
I do like that.
They do him really well, and I'll just read this to you because it's cool. It says, November 13th, 1970, I received an unexpected call from a woman named Hattie Bartok. She says she knows things about Michael Myers she wants to tell me. And when he's talking to her, she's like, come quickly.
Hey, let's do...
I'll do her.
You do the woman. It's like, Hattie!
Come quickly. 6 shelter from the storm, Dr. Loomis. Are you a man of God, Doctor?
A man of science.
Unfortunate. Your eyes are closed to what exists outside of your rational world. Michael is one of those things.
What do you mean?
You are blind to the truth.
You smell like crack.
Halloween is a night when the curtain between the living and the dead is the thinnest. The night when true evil walks the earth.
You smell like Mary Poppins with constipation.
The wearing of masks to ward off evil spirits. Cigarette drag. Or to become someone else is a powerful form of
I feel like one would be like going,
And magic can be used for good or for evil. And she goes on and yada yada yada.
No, keep going.
She says, Michael was born on November 1st, known in some cultures as the Day of the Dead.
Quotes.
I was the midwife who helped deliver the Myers children, all 3 of them.
No. Michael was born on Halloween. And there were only two of Myers' children, Judith and Michael.
You're wrong. There was another.
No, I don't think so.
Michael's body may have entered the world that night, but his soul did not. He was stillborn.
Oh.
But that soul, that black-hearted soul, did arrive. As night became day, the day of the dead.
Oh.
He was officially pronounced alive.
Why are you going? Your accent is changing
and the
rapidly.
curse was fulfilled.
Sean Connery's birthday. Yeah, and it also says see Halloween 3 or Halloween 2 for the blackest eyes for details.
Yeah, they basically tell the same story they told the last one, where Myers is born, but he's still born, and then 7 minutes later he's born on Halloween.
But I do like the flashback sequence with Loomis. I think it was cool. It shows Loomis doing the investigation work, the investigative legwork that you didn't really get to see when Loomis had Myers in custody. I guess when he was treating him. This was 1970 when this scene takes place, so he was going out and looking and figuring out what Michael was, and he was going to anybody that knew Michael. I like the idea that, and I'm not talking to that bullshit Malcolm McDowell, I'm trying to sell books, bitch, from Halloween 2.
This isn't green tea!
He goes, yeah, I read that book, it was a masterpiece. But I'm not talking about that version. It was terrible. I'm talking about the actual Dr. Loomis that we know and love, the Donald Pleasance version, going out and doing the legwork, and this is why, and I think it was one of the... why he knew Michael was pure evil, because of all the investigative work that he had done while treating Michael and realizing that Michael was not human.
Yeah, and that comes into play later as well. But while Tommy is talking to Lindsey Wallace and he's trying to get her to believe that he just escaped and didn't murder anybody, they go upstairs and they discover that Sims, Annie Brackett, and Linda Vanderklok, their bodies, and it's a badass scene.
Look at Tommy, cool. He's like, we've got to get out now. Then he goes, ah! It's like, ah!
It reminds me of Loomis says, get out now!
Look at the way that he's getting chased down by Michael. Michael stabs him, and he's like, ah!
But they discover these, and it's a badass looking scene, because cool. Michael dug up these bodies and their skeletons, and he places him in their bed in this really fucked up way. When Tommy and Lindsey discover this, he's like, we gotta get out now! And then Michael pops up, he stabs Tommy in the shoulder. The next thing you know, he chases.
If you look at that scene right there, that little panel, it looks like he's trying to stab her in the butt.
Yeah, come on,
he's like, I'm gonna put it right in your crack.
Come to sweet Henrietta.
And I'm gonna throw it at you.
He throws her ass down.
I do like that. Look at the scene. Yeah, we're looking at it. If you guys want to watch along, it's fine. But Michael coming down the steps, that artistry looks great.
Yeah, it does.
It looks like a cool T-shirt.
I don't love his mask in this comic book. I think it looks kind of weird.
It's very exaggerated.
But there's kind of a reason for that. Yeah. So they do this whole scene. Lindsey runs away from
very much like when Laurie Strode was running away.
Yeah, and she's trying to escape and she's trying to find help, but the whole town of Haddonfield's empty. It's a ghost town because everybody runs away during Halloween because of all the shit that's been.
She's like, oh God, I'm running toward Lampkin Lane, which would lead me right to the Myers house.
It was like Power Rangers. It's like cringe where it's just like, oh my God, this is the house I've been trying to escape for 23 years. I guess I'll go inside.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden in the backyard, after 10,000 years, I'm free. Time to conquer Earth. Yeah, is that corny? But she's like, how would you not know you're going towards the Myers house? You live there.
This is where shit, and we're getting towards the end of the comic book now. This is where shit gets fucking wackadoo, Tony Soprano style. She goes up and she decides, like a dumbass, to sit at Judith's makeup table, and she's like, Michael fucking pops out, and she's like, both your sisters are dead, Michael. You fucking killed them both. You killed Lori and you killed Judith, and now you got no more sisters.
And guess what? Now you're not gonna get any Christmas presents.
Michael grabs her by the face and just fucking he just fucking face slams her to that goddamn table.
You know what remind me of?
Don't tell me about business, devil woman.
What reminded me of is in that scene, it almost felt like they were copying it in Friday the 13th when she pretends to be Jason's mom to stop the monster. She pretends for a second and then he's like, oh, that's my mama. That ain't my
That's
mama.
not your sweater.
She not the girl. But there is one scene I do like it when she's pretending to be Judith, I guess, and she's brushing her hair, which I don't know. But they kind of zoom in the comic book panel, and you see Michael's eye. It's like this glint. It almost looks like a skull, like light up in his fucking eye.
And she stabs his eye too. She stabs Michael right in the fucking eye.
And it was one of those things like, yeah, bitch, I fell for Halloween 5 when that bitch took my mask off. It ain't gonna happen again. And I had a ponytail then.
What he does, they fight. She stabs him in the eye. Tommy shows up, shoots him a couple times. They take the mask off, and you will not believe this. I got a car I want to sell you. You will not believe this. They take the mask off, and you know who Michael Myers is?
Who?
It's Laurie fucking Strode!
God damn it!
Laurie Strode is Michael Myers.
Why did you do it?
What are you doing, Steven?
Oh my God!
Stop!
This was actually the visage of Tommy in this, in the little panel, is exactly what I was when I was like, what the fuck? I was like, huh? I was like, and it was, and she got stabbed in the eye, and now, and it's, she looked like Sinead O'Connor in SNL when she burned the picture of the Pope.
They made Tommy look like fucking Shaka Smart.
And she's pulling the piece of glass out of her mouth and she's going, oh. I was like, go back to teaching, Carrie. Shit, you've lost your mind.
I'm going to Yosemite.
This is when, this is what Josh Hartnett was warning you about. You drink too much.
So they struggle. She tackles Tommy. They go flying out of the window. And then 4 weeks later, you go back to the sanitarium. Lori's sitting there with a fucking eye patch on. The doctor is talking.
You can see her hoo-ha.
Oh, yeah, you can. It's kind of weird that you can see that.
They just put lines on her vagina.
Yeah, Josh Hartnett would not appreciate that very much. But they're talking to her, and they're like, hey, look, they give this backstory, and the doctor's like, look, here's what happened, all right? Lori is Michael's sister, and they both come from a line, not of evil, but they come from a line of alcoholism, and of incest, of all this fucked up shit.
So we know that Michael's family's from West Virginia.
And they've been fucking their family members.
The wonderful world of whites. And that comes full circle.
That's why it all happened, all right? That's why it all happened. So,
by the way, I'm not talking about white people. There's a family called the Wonderful World of Whites.
If you trace back,
Mike is fucking related to those assholes.
I am
you are. That's why Mike likes moonshine and whiskey.
I'm related to those people, so I've done well for myself.
Yes, you have.
I've overcome the odds.
It's like, I have a home. It ain't mobile.
Yeah, I got a few places.
I stick my head.
But when they're telling her this, they're like,
"Did you fart?"
No, it's the chair. It's the chair. When they're telling her this, they're like, no, it's not that he's evil. And she's wondering, she's like, I don't know. Loomis said he was fucking evil. Lindsay's thinking to herself, like, Loomis said he was evil. I read the diaries. Tommy said he was evil. I don't know if I believe all this familial Rob Zombie bullshit.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
And then all of a sudden, they show Lori's face, and she's staring there with her fucking weird fucking cut. And then you see Dr. Wynn watching. So Dr. Wynn is controlling the strings, and he's having these people tell Lindsay that there's no evil shit going on here, so he can run his fucking cult, and that's where the thing ends.
Yeah, I feel like this was, and then the jack-o'-lantern with the smoke, with Michael's mask. It's pretty cool.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Yeah, oh, you play?
I like to play a lot. Yeah, because I think I'll just have a sugar packet or two. Yeah, but here's the thing. This is like what Rob Zombie wanted to do. But it's actually presented in a better way in the comic book form, because they actually got Jamie Lee Curtis as far as like the likeness of her, and they can draw her and put her in the
Carrie
story.
Tate, show some respect.
Yeah. But also, as I was reading it and I got to that part, I'm like, this is fucking stupid. I got mad as fuck, because let me tell you something. It's fine that it's in a comic book, but if this was ever real life, I would throw a tomato at the movie screen.
You have smoked yourself.
I would do it, because look. And then as soon as I saw that it was goddamn Laurie Strode, that's Michael Myers now, I was like, this is an alternate reality. It's not even real. This is like what happens. Like, who watches The Watcher? Nobody. What if?
That motherfucker running free.
This is like Marvel. What if Laurie was the killer? I was like, if I put it, because listen,
but that's where this shit belongs, right? It's in the comic.
In the comic books, as long as it stays there. And listen, I know a lot of people have, there was the idea about Jamie being the killer. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that this idea floated around more than a few times, that Laurie would take over the role and maybe die in the next one as Michael Myers, and then the circle of evil would be finally closed. Thank God it never happened. Thank God for the real people that control Halloween, that said, no, don't
do it.
You take your fucking butter churning ass back to the Amish country. Don't you come in my house. But I liked it as far as a comic book.
Yeah.
But and as far as a comic book, like you do Marvel What If this was a What If TV show, I'd watch it and be like, that's pretty cool.
It's a good time.
That's it.
Fuck around and find out. Mm-hmm. Guys, we're going to do all the Halloween comic books eventually, so make sure that you subscribe.
No, I'm not.
Click the bell. Yes, you will.
I'm not. If this is, because if it's a sequel to this, fuck that shit.
I don't know if there's a sequel to this or not. I haven't Googled that
to put pants on.
I don't know if there's another one in this series.
She looks like Jimmy Timbers, Long John Silver.
There's multiple Halloween series comic books that tell different stories. We're going to do them all right fucking here. Get some marbles going. Click the subscribe button. We love your fucking faces. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Oh, don't hit it.
I'm not going to do
Don't
that.
touch my special
I ain't
jewels.
gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it, because I need to put my wiener in your butt.
Tell me your fucking bank card number.
I had a sister named Judith. She had sex with this kid. It all ended awkwardly quick. I stabbed her in the tits. I know it probably wasn't cool of me, but I just went crazy. Myers.